Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about what to think about when lower back pain affects your everyday life. Okay, so lower back pain, well, what does that mean, lower back pain, right? I've talked about this before. What is pain? Is it sharp stabbing, muscle soreness, ache, tiredness, weakness, whatever the case may be, or does it feel like it's working, right? Typically, what ends up happening with lower back pain is that it's more of an achy tiredness feeling, okay? And we can have it from a back injury, arthritis, things like that. But it usually ends up coming from a repetitive motion that we're doing where we're using our lower back to move our body, right? So instead of using other muscles to support our lower back, we end up using our lower back to do most of the pulling. So as you can see here, my little friend Kevin, my little stick figure, right? He's like a lot of us, we're putting our hand on the wall. Man, my lower back hurts, right? Because even sitting sometimes ends up aggravating our back, right? Because we're using our lower back to sit into a chair. Sounds strange, but I'll show you in a minute what I mean. But typically what ends up happening is we use so much from our lower back and not from our quads or glutes, right? Or abdominal muscles, that everything gets sent into our lower back. And it's massively important when protecting our lower back to use other muscles to help support it, right? To protect it. One of the biggest ones is our abdominal muscles, right? So it is important to strengthen our abdominal muscles. I'm going to show you some exercises throughout this video on ways that you can help strengthen your lower back, okay? And the muscles that you should be using when doing exercises that typically come with, the lower back having issues, right? When we typically feel it the most, okay? One of the biggest things is we don't push our hips back. We have a tendency to hinge from our waist, and here's what I mean. When we're going to pick something up, right, I'm all the way out here. Now, also what happens is our feet have a tendency to be together when we do it, right? So as I'm leaning forward and all my weight is forward, right, there's really nothing, right? And we typically grab for something that's further out in front of us. And when we do, and we go to pick something up, right, so we're too far out here, everything is right here in our lower back, right? And this is where we pull from. We don't think about using our abs. We don't think about using our glutes or our hamstring or our quads. What ends up happening, it all gets sent to our lower back, right? Because that's what we're used to doing. So a deadlift is a good way to kind of practice, right? And also help strengthen the lower back on how to pick something up. So in this particular case, yes, my feet are going to be together, right? A little bit more than shoulder width apart, toes pointed forward. And what I tell my clients to do is have soft knees. Put your fingers in your hips and push your hips back. Show you again from the side, okay? Fingers in my hips. I'm going to push my hips back. Now, as you're pushing your hips back, you don't want to squat. You just want to push your hips back. Now, what's going to help pull me up is my lower abdominal muscles and my glutes. I'm going to breathe out, and I'm going to push myself up, right? And that's what you want to do. You want to use your abs and your glutes to pull yourself up, not your lower back, right? So if you're at home, right, again, feel a little bit more than shoulder width apart, knees soft, don't lock out your knees. When we lock out your knees, guess what happens? We send it into our lower back. Have a softer knee. Think of it as a little bit like a cushion. Now I know that if you have knee issues and things like that, you don't want to send it into the knee. But with that said, that's why it's important to use the proper muscles to help support the knee too, right? Everything works together. It's a bit of a chain reaction, right? We don't want to go to our lower back, so we may go to our knees. But hey, guess what? There's muscles between our lower back and our knees. There's our quads, there's our hamstring, there's our glutes. And as usual, I'm going to say it more than once, guys, abs. Abs, 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 abs. Okay? Abs are what's going to help support our lower back. Okay, going back to deadlift, right? You also don't want to round our back, because that's what ends up happening. We end up rounding our back. And again, our arms are down here. And when they're down here, our pull comes from here. We don't think about pushing up through our abdominal muscles, right? Use your abs to pick something up. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy weight, right? This is my load. Now, what's important about this, as I mentioned earlier, we reach too far out. You want the load underneath your chest, right? And the other thing you're going to do as you pick the load up is you're going to bring the load to your chest as you stand up, because we don't want to stand up with the load hanging down, because when that happens, again, our lower back takes over. We don't want the lower back. So I'm going to deadlift this a little bit. My knees are soft. I'm going to push my hips back, right? Back is flat. I'm going to pick my load up. I'm going to gauge my abdominal core. I'm going to breathe out. And I pull the weight to my chest. right? And as I'm pulling the weight to my chest, I didn't send it into my lower back. My abs supported me, my glutes supported me, my hamstring supported me, okay? And even the quads a little bit. Now, when you're picking something up, sometimes picking up from being bent over is a little bit hard to do, right? So I'm gonna put my weight, my load like this, and I'm gonna squat into it. Now, when I squat into it, again, I'm over the load, right? I'm gonna squat down, I'm leaning forward a little bit. I'm not using my lower back, I'm not using my knees, I'm using my quad, my glutes, and my abs again. And as you can see, I'm bringing the load to my chest, right? Again, if you have sore knees, right, and sometimes it's hard to get down into that position, right? So sometimes what I like to do as well, if I'm picking something up, is, again, a little bit more shoulder width apart. My load is as close to the center of my chest as I could possibly be, right? And this is a little bit easier if you can pick up something with one hand, right? That little paper that's on the floor, this is kind of what helps with that. What I'll do is, again, get into my squat position. I'll take one hand and I'll support it on my leg, right? I'm twisting a little bit. Again, keep in mind your lower back, but what's helping me? My glute, my quads, okay? My abs, engage my abdominal core, pull up. As I stand up, grab it, pull it towards my chest, okay? These are just things to think about as you're picking stuff off the floor. Don't round your back, push your hips back. If you have to squat, use your quad and glutes to push you up, not your knees, not your lower back. Again, abs, 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 abs. Okay, chairs. I'm going up and down out of a chair. There it is. I talk too fast sometimes, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to slow it down. Okay, typically when we go to stand up, our feet are shifted back and we get into a ski jumper position. When that happens, we send everything into our lower back, right? Because we're hinged here, right? So we're pushing off, our knees go, and then to stand up, where do we pull from? Our lower back. No. What you want to do, right? Toes just slightly in front of your knees. Quad, glute, try to stand up the best you can. Don't lean forward too much, right? Use your abs, push yourself up. Breathing out helps to push your abs back, right? We're not pushing our abs forward, we're pushing our abs back towards our lower spine, towards our lower back, right? Pushing our abs back towards our lower back. Yes, that makes sense. Because our abs help support our lower back, okay? So that's standing up from a chair. Now, when we go up the stairs, right? Sometimes we'll go and we'll step really hard. When we step really hard, especially on things that are plastic, it goes up into our spine. So you want a bit of a softer touch. And again, don't push through your knee, right? You want to use your quad and glute to push you up a stair, okay? Don't send it into your lower back, right? Again, what muscles do we use? Say it with me. Our quads, which are our thighs, our glute, which is our butt, and our abs, which, well, they're just our abs, right? And again, sometimes we'll use our hamstring, right? Which is this guy back here, okay? So these are just some things to think about as you're moving and picking things up in everyday life. And the hope is that it'll help strengthen your lower back, right? Doing these different things. When you use the muscles that we need to use, it helps support our lower back and make it feel better, right? Heat can also be another thing that helps support our lower back, right? Or relieve tension in our lower back, okay? So heat is good, helps get rid of inflammation, loosens the muscles. The only thing about that is that if we don't stretch maybe muscles in our hips and things like that, right? One of the ways to stretch your hip muscles, if you're able to do it, which can help relieve back pain, is you're sitting. If you're able to, bring your leg up over your up over your other leg, right? Almost like you're crossing your legs, but you're not fully crossing your legs, okay? This leg down below, my knee, my toe are in alignment. Don't do this, don't do that, don't be too far out. You want to try to get it in this alignment the best you can, okay? You're going to grab your ankle for support, and you're going to push above your knee. Don't push on your knee because you can hurt your knee. Push above the knee, and you want to stretch. What you're stretching are your hip flexors, your glute, things like that in here. Now, again, you're going to push down till you feel a bit of a stretch. You want to hold it about 20, 30 seconds. Then, if you want, bring the leg up and hug the leg. This is a little harder to do But you want to bring the leg up and hug the leg and look out back behind you on the leg that you have up. Now, either this is going to have a really intense stretch or this is going to have a really intense stretch. Either way, whatever the one has the intense stretch, that's the one you want to focus on a little bit more. Both are good to do, but the one that has a little bit more of the intense stretch is going to help maybe relieve your lower back. Because now, like I said before, the repetitive motion, lower back issues, pain, injury, that type of thing, arthritis, right, causes lower back issues. But what else can also occur with lower back issues is you have a tightness in your hips and your quads. And your quads are here. Your hips, your glutes, that thing, everything in here, okay, can go up and cause lower back pain. So stretching that out can also help, right? And our core is not just our abdominal muscles. Most people think our core is just our abs, but really it's anything from below the neck to just below our butt. So what's also that? Your upper back. Now, sometimes we have like a dowager's hump when we're this way, right? Where our shoulders are rounded forward, right? Rounded shoulder forward. And what ends up happening is we're already rounded forward. Remember before when I said we round our lower back or round our back and that can affect our lower back. But if we walk around every day like this, and this is caused again from a number of issues. One of them being not a very strong upper back, right? But we get this way, being on our phones, being on the computer, stress at work, tension, we end up like this. Our shoulders are pulled forward, right? So we have to pull back and work our upper back. Ways that we can do that, we could do back rows, right? Essentially a back row, if you don't have a resistance band or anything like that, you could put your hands out in front of you, stagger your stance, and bring your shoulder blades together. You want to think about bringing your shoulder blades together. Don't pull from your bicep or your tricep, your shoulder blades coming together. You could do this exercise very simply without any weights. Just think about bringing your shoulder blades together. That's a back row, or you could do it as a back fly, where you bring your shoulder blades together this way, right? What it does is it helps to strengthen your upper back, okay? Other things you can do is you could do shrugs, right? A shrug is going to work your trap muscle, which is this muscle along here that helps connect to your neck, right? Again, because we could get a stiff neck, it helps kind of pull everything back. Shrug is just shrugging your shoulders like this. That's all it is. And if you're holding a weight, don't bring the weight up like this. Just shrug your shoulders, right? And you want to work shrugs this way. You also want to think about working a shrug this way, okay? This is a pulling shrug. This is a pushing shrug. Different muscles, same muscles working differently, right? This is going to be harder to do. This might be a little easier to do because you're pulling up as opposed to trying to push up, all right? So these are just ways that we can help strengthen our neck and our upper back, right? That will again help support our lower back. Now I mentioned earlier as well, is that typically when we go to pick things up, our feet are about shoulder width apart. Another way to do it is if you stagger your stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Now, again with this, if you have no issues on either leg, it's not gonna matter. If you have an issue with a leg, you have to be careful which foot's forward, okay? Because sometimes if you have knee issues, you don't want the knee to give out. But again, we really should be using maybe our quad and glute to kind of help support us as we pick something up, okay? Staggering our stance gives us a bit of a better base as opposed to this. Because again, if we're reaching forward, right? Reaching forward from our hips, we're moving further away from our body. Staggering our stance kind of puts our hips more in the center of our body a little bit. Again, I'm still pushing my hips back and picking up the item I need to pick up using, say it with me kids, your abs to help push you up and your butt or glute, okay? Glute and butt are the same thing. So the other exercise that I want to talk about that you can do is pretty simple to help strengthen your lower back. You'll be down up against the wall or on the floor. Don't do it on a bed because the bed is too soft. What you're going to do is you're going to stand flat up against the wall. You're going to walk your legs a little bit forward, right? You want the lower back flat to the wall or almost close to flat to the wall because as we've said in the past, right, and talking about dowager's humps and having rounded shoulders, we don't want to have a rounded shoulder forward. You want to be able to have your lower back flat to the wall, okay? That's what's most important. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, not through the mouth, in through the nose, And you're going to breathe slowly, purse your lips out through your mouth and push your abdominal muscles back into the wall, right? And the reason why it's slow and with pursed lips, because it's going to help hold the lower back to the wall, right? It's very important that we do this. Okay, again, deep breath into the nose, out through the mouth, slow breath out. Now, be careful with this because you might get lightheaded and dizzy. So do a couple first to see how you feel, because taking a deep breath into the nose like that, we're not used to doing it. A lot of time we're mouth breathers. So if you slowly breathe into the nose, out through the mouth, just be mindful of being lightheaded and dizziness. So just take it nice and easy. Don't do a lot of reps. Do a couple reps in the beginning until you get used to it, okay? Because what that's going to do is going to help strengthen your lower back. You're taking your abdominal muscles and you're pushing them against the wall, and that's going to help strengthen your lower back. You can, again, do it against the wall, or you can do it on the floor. If you do it on the floor, have your knees bent with your feet flat. All right, guys? So just to review everything for today, again, make sure, that your hips are pushed back. Don't arch your lower back. Strengthen your abs any which way you can. Strengthen your upper back. Strengthen your traps, your core. Strengthen anything, again, from your neck to just below your butt. That's what your core is. It's not just your abs. You want to strengthen all of that because that's what's going to help support your lower back and make you stronger overall. And again, if you're picking stuff up, think about your abs, your butt, your thighs, your hamstring, to help pull you up, to help push you up, okay? Make sure you bring the object close to your chest as you stand up, because again, you don't want it that far out because it may go into your lower back. All right, guys, these are just some things to do when thinking about lower back pain in your everyday life. I'll see you in the next video.